Have you ever seen somebody go from like being nothing to being super successful in what seems like overnight? I have a term for that I call success identity. And there's a bunch of ways that you can define your success identity and a bunch of different factors that can play into your identity. And what I've learned over the course of many years is there's three main things that contribute to your success identity. First one is who you surround yourself with. Now, before you check out, like, oh, I've heard this before, who you surround yourself with is incredibly important. Now, I'm not just talking about your friends and your family. I'm talking about your workplace. I'm talking about your employees, if you're an employer. I'm talking about literally everybody that you surround yourself with. If you go to the gas station for coffee every day and you up level to going to, the local coffee house that instead of paying $1.50 for your gas station coffee, now you're paying $6 for your gas station coffee. Little things like that, who you're putting yourself in rooms with, make a big difference. Now, I know that example I gave with the coffee sounds ridiculous, but what if you think about paying, $100 to be a part of some online community versus paying $100,000 to be a part of an online community? The people paying $100,000, like yourself, are probably much higher level than the people paying $100,000. Does that make sense? What I've recognized is my first ever coaching program I was a part of, I paid like $750 a month, I think. Maybe it was even $600, I don't remember. Something low, it was less than $1,000. And I got into that, and what I recognized was almost everybody in that group was just like me. Now, the cool part about being in a community at all is there are people that were like me who wanted to raise up and who wanted to grow their level of success through that. They wanted to change their success identity. So I found my couple people in that group, and we started and we're still really good friends today. And we all have grown to where we pay 6 figures a year for different coaching and mentorships and whatever else, opposed to paying, sub $10,000 a year. So when I look back at that original coaching group that I was a part of, there's still people who were in that with me 7 years ago who are still at that same level. And what it really boils down to is they love being the biggest fish in their own little pond. When I say that, I mean the biggest fish in their group, because lots of other new small businesses are coming into that coaching program, but they've been at it for 10, 15 years and they feel like they're big and bad, instead of up-leveling themselves into rooms where they're the small fish. And that's what really separates people who have a growing level of success identity versus people who stay at the same level consistently. The second biggest contributing factor to up-leveling your level of success identity is increasing your level of discomfort. Now, let me tell you a story that can kind of put this into context for you. I was probably 4 years into business or so, and I had a mentor, Josh Latimer. You guys have heard me talk about him a lot. And he said, Colin, you need to start making really big things in your life seem really small. And I was like, what do you mean by that? Like how? He goes, you're about to start making some big moves that Colin 2 years ago thought were impossible. And I need you to actually feel like it's not that big of a deal. Because if you feel like it's Mount Everest, there's a chance it never happens. So I need you to start looking for things that seem like a big deal in your life and make them small. I was like, Josh, how do I do that? What does that mean? And he goes, sometimes, Colin, that can look like having to go out and buy something fancy, And I was like, okay. And he goes, what do you like? I'm like, I'm kind of into watches right now, but he goes, okay, tell me about a watch that you have. I was like, dude, all my watches are $10 watches from Walmart. He goes, okay, there we go. That's what we're talking about. You need to go out and buy a fancy watch. So I go in and buy a fancy watch. And what I thought was fancy, I spent like $300, $250, something like that on a watch. And I show it to him on my next call. He's like, okay, cool. Like, now you need to wear that every day. And I was like, yeah, I'm wearing it most of the days. No, I'm talking like around your ranch. I'm talking when you're cleaning the warehouse. Like, you need to wear this thing like it doesn't matter at all. And I was like, ooh, you sure? Like, yeah, I go, dude, I got $10 watches for that. He goes, no, this is the point. So I wear this watch and I just start beating the crap out of it. And before you know it, this thing that I idolized, that was a big thing in my life, felt really small. I was like, ooh, I like the way that this makes me feel. This is a fancy watch, and I have no problem feeding the animals with it, or scooping crap with it, or planting trees with it, or whatever it is, right? Like, I'm good. And so I did the same thing to my wife. I caught my wife one time, like, Colin, I could never, I don't need anything fancy like that. And I was like, So I brought up a Coach purse idea to her one time, and she's like, no way, do not buy me a Coach purse. I don't need that, blah, blah, blah. And I just surprised her, right? So I bought a Coach purse for her, and it was like $200, $250, something like that. And give it to her, she's like, Colin, I can't wear this thing ever. I was like, why? And she goes, what if I'm standing in our grocery store, and the gal in front of me can't afford her groceries, and I'm sitting here with my Coach purse? I go, well, what would you do now without a Coach purse? I'd buy her groceries. Okay, so why would your credit card being in a Coach purse change that behavior at all? She goes, well, people just think that people with fancy stuff are crappy, and you think that. And you get an opportunity to rewrite that script. You get to show people that we can live in this town, we can be successful, and we can still take care of other people. She's like, oh, okay, I get it now. I was like, you wear this purse every single day. We had a baby at the time. I was like, diapers go in it, bottles go in it. Like, you wear this purse. And she did for like 2 years and just wore it out. Like, it's falling apart now. She can't wear it at all. And she did. And she was like, I get it now. This helped me understand big things being much smaller. So it was really, really uncomfortable. And I'm not telling those stories to like flex. Obviously, they're $200 things. There's $20,000 Rolexes and whatever else, right? These were small things that started to make me understand the level of big that I need to make small. So when I decided to launch new locations across the country, that's a really freaking big deal to a lot of people, and it felt about this big to me. It was easy. I never went there. I actually was on vacation when we launched a couple of them, right? Like, I minimized it so much, and that's how it goes, right? So you make big things really, really small. The third and final biggest contributor to up-leveling your success identity is delayed gratification. And when I say delayed gratification, I mean bust your butt. Right? It's purely mental. When you're building a business, you need to be all in on building the business, not thinking about, I need to do this today so that I can take a week off. Or like, don't focus on the things you want in the future. Don't focus on like grabbing your phone and scrolling social media, like, oh, what's going on here? Don't worry about that stuff. Focus on building your business. You need to be hustling, right? I'm not a big hustle grind guy like Gary Vee, but I'm in the early stages. Focus on it. Don't be focused on playing video games at night, or watching the game, or smoking dope with your buddies, or going to the bar and drinking, watching the game. Like, none of that stuff matters. If you want a business, you gotta go freaking get it. You gotta, Dave Ramsey says, live like no one else today so you can live like no one else later. That's the truth. You cannot look like the rest of the world and expect to have a high level of success. It doesn't work. You think Mark Cuban, the Elon Musks, the Donald Trumps, do you think they went out partying? Do you think that they sat home Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday nights watching football? Like, heck no. They were out doing the things that they needed to do. They were networking. They were building the business till 2 o'clock at night, sitting on their desk, like just going. They were making things happen because that's all they could focus on. That's all they wanted to focus on. I'm not saying forget your family. That's not it, all right? If you're married with kids, they are a priority. You need to prioritize them, but do not have it be family, friends, and business. It doesn't work that way. Your business needs to be one of your top priorities, and you gotta let all the fun disappear for a season, right? It sucks. I hate saying it out loud because I don't want you to lose that luster for it. Like, it's important to enjoy things in life, but if you want to increase your level of success identity, you gotta get rid of all the junk, all the distractions. I carry 2 different phones. I have one for social media and one for personal. And the social media phone oftentimes just gets left away from me. I'll leave it with my assistant. I'll leave it at home sometimes because I know I'm filming and I don't want any distractions today. I know I gotta work on this thing. I don't want any distractions today. So I'll leave my social media phone at home. Some people, you just delete the apps off of your phone. Cool, do it that way. I don't care, right? But get rid of the distractions in your life. Start saying no. The word no is crazy powerful. You do not need to be a yes man or a yes woman in order to achieve success. No. The word no is so much more powerful. Some of the most wealthy, Charlie Munger, his answer was always yes, no, or too difficult. That's it. And too difficult usually followed no. All right, let's take some pages out of their books. Let's follow them. If you want to increase your success identity, the only way to do that is to not look like the rest of the world. It starts up here, all right? Not in your pocketbook, not in how hard you're working, not in some fancy one magic trick that you do. No, it starts between your ears. And you need to believe that you are capable of achieving that level of success identity. And then you gotta get rid of all the distractions. It's that simple. So those are the three things: who you surround yourself with, your level of discomfort, and the amount of delayed gratification that you allow inside of your life. If you follow those top three things, I promise the rest of it will fall into place. There's 75 other things that go into your level, your success identity. But if you follow those top three, it's gonna radically shift the outcome of your business and the rest of your life.